Listen, thank you guys so much for being on today. Amber and I are really excited about the stuff we get to share today. We think that this is the fundamentals of understanding the future career in the mortgage industry. And right now, at a time where, gosh, it's tough, right? I mean, at times it feels dead. At times it feels like everything that we've ever done to build our business and be successful is not working. It's a time when we're questioning everything. Is this the right industry? Am I in the right company? Am I even good at this? Do people value me anymore? And the more we're in that state of questioning, the more we are drifting, the more we are going to stay in that rut that we are in. The minute that we can shift into a place of confidence, so we can shift into a place of clarity, we can shift into that place of just going yes and acceptance and loving what we're doing and working that plan and just focus, that's when we become on fire. That's when we could speak more authentically from who we are and what we believe. And people want to be around that. They are looking for the lighthouse. You could either be the tugboat, like dragging people into the harbor, or you can be the lighthouse, guiding people in because you are a beacon of light. You know what you're doing. You're excited about having a plan. You've adjusted and accepted the gyrations that are typical in economic peaks and valleys in our industry. And you know where you're going. And that is our intention for this call today. Of course, right off the top, we have to say it. Amber and I are both recruiting. We are looking to attract those people who want to bust ass, who want to work, who want to build something special, who want to not only crush it at work, but crush it in life. And that we have fun being around. And so because we've got these open spaces in our branches, it has pushed us to get ourselves out there, just like many of you have been pushed to get yourself out there. You're going, oh, I'm not good at networking. I don't like cold calls. But because tough times call for tough people, we're all being forced to rise up and to do things differently. And I could tell you, as Amber and I prepare for these, it's a stretch. I don't like doing PowerPoints, right? But, you know, I go, what do people really, really need? And how can we serve? How can we make sure that if you spend time with us, you're going to make more money? That's what I want as my professional identity. Okay. And I want you to think about that because I think we're going to be talking a lot about this. People that coach with me, I had somebody yesterday go, Shayla, in coaching with you, I'm trying to actually be more authentically myself. How do I be bold? How do I just say what I really feel and be more of me? Like, was that natural for you or did you gain that skill? And we'll talk about it more in the webinar, but honestly, it's a skill that you can learn. It's absolutely something that you can bring forward. And she goes, you know, now I'm really thinking about changing my value proposition. I used to be the person that talked about my incredible customer service and my emotional intelligence and my ability to manage emotions. And it's like, yeah, is that really going to move the needle? Or are we confronting issues and saying what we want and being vulnerable and being bold? And I know that's a big part of your journey too, Amber. So we've got over 90 of you on this call today, and I'm going to share PowerPoint and try to stay totally on track. But listen, we want feedback. Where are you guys? Get into the chat. I want to see where in the world are we? Who's represented? Is anybody on from Reno, Nevada, or Scottsdale, Chandler, Phoenix area where Amber and I are? Jessica, you're in Arizona. Hey, you can't beat it. You know, we got to 74 yesterday in Reno, so it was amazing. Andrea, thank you that you're not bothered by the fact that I'm orange. I did go to Hawaii, so I have a little bit of a tan, but I don't think this orange glow is the tan. It's something's going on here. All right. San Diego, Scott Evans is on the line. Oh my God, I love you, Scott. Thank you. I see a lot of friends. Las Vegas, Nevada. Hey, Sandy in Reno, Des Moines, Iowa. All right, well, let's keep the chat going. And listen, guys, I know for me, if I'm in any meeting, I took a call yesterday about nutrition and diet. If I didn't have my pen to paper and I was on a webinar, my brain goes in 1,000 directions. I mean, I open my Instagram DMs like 12 times on the call. I know you might be tempted to do that, even though we're going to try to pour all of our energy out to you. But I can just tell you, I learn way more when I get out a pen and I write on paper and I try to literally get all of those little nuggets and the way somebody else says something, because that's the art. It's if you want big results, start small. Start on the little things that people say, how they make eye contact, what they like, be a real student of people and what people do. And I promise you, you will see mega results by working small and starting small. So we're going to talk about playing to win. And what does that mean? If you're somebody that just craves more in your life, that wants clarity, that says, I want to be a top producer. I'm going to own that identity. I am a great leader. I want to live an extraordinary life, like extraordinary. And maybe I feel confused about the market and the noise, and I'm trying to find that. Then you're in the right place. That's what we're talking about here. The people that Amber and I love to coach, we spend a lot of time on our personal core values, right? And this is what they are. And I, if you know me at all, embrace the rhino. That has been my mascot since I was 19 years old. What I love about a rhino is they don't have to hang out in a pack. They aren't looking to their left and the right like the sheep or the cows, and they're all herding together in the corner of the pasture going, should we go over there, George? Like, what do we do? Should we make calls? And there's so many people right now that are in the herd. Our buyers are stuck in the herd. They're listening to media. They're listening to friends and family. You look at realtors and they're looking to their left and right going with their eyes like this big. No, a rhino goes out into the jungle every day to pursue what he or she wants. A rhino's got a horn that can just go after it and attack if it needs to. A rhino's got thick skin. You know, you don't see a rhino freaking out if it's got a bird landing on it or a mosquito or, you know, little things. And right now I see people freaking out over little things. Yeah, freaking out over, oh, I just lost a deal, or somebody that I saw a realtor having coffee with someone else and they're cheating on me. No, a rhino has to be solid, charging, focused, and willing to go at it alone, willing to have an amazing attitude when everybody else doesn't, willing to be courageous, choose courage over comfort, like really dig down deep every day and go, did I choose courage? Am I loving? Am I out there fiercely loving other people? Do I have a generous spirit? Am I really a giver? Or am I entering into every situation going, what can I gain? What can I gain? What can I take? Because I'm telling you, the takers right now are being exposed. If you're truly a giver, you will stay off of yourself and on others and get out of your own head. Are you committed? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you that kind of a loan officer that'll drive across town, pick up loan documents, drive over the hill an hour and a half to get them funded? Are you willing to put yourself into networking situations, public speaking situations, creating classes because you're committed to your success in your family? Are you willing to be authentic? Are you willing to say, you know what, this is me? Like, you be you. If you're a nerd, be a nerd. If you are cool, be cool. If you are a focused, intense, crazy person like me, be you, because the bigger you that you are, the more you're going to feel your own power, the more you will have that attractiveness, that attractive magnetic quality that people want. You know, charisma is confidence and warmth coming through. Can you be confident and loving at the same time? That is what charisma is. And you only get that when you're coming from your authentic place. And then finally, like, do you strive for excellence? You know, Amber, it's one of my favorite people to coach. Of course, everybody always notices your purple dragons in the back because she's just that kind of, but you're a learner, Amber. You are somebody that craves excellence in your life. When I'm around Amber, I'm taking notes. I'm going, okay, Amber, what do you do with your kids when you're on the long drive? How do you get them prepared for this, you know, trip that you're taking? And she's so dialed in. I say to you, Amber, all the time that your problem is you're so freaking dialed in. You take your anxiety that you have, and then you just zone in for excellence in all areas of your life. And I'm thinking, I need to take an anxiety pill. I think I might be better if I actually brought on more anxiety, because you've channeled to excellence. So Amber, tell us about who you are, where you're at. Why are you here? What are you up to?
Oh my gosh. So I'm out in Chandler, Arizona. I have two little girls. One just turned 8 yesterday, and the other one turned 10 last month. And I've been in mortgage as a loan originator for about 20 years now. And I found Shayla in my life through the core about 10 years ago, and really got to know her about 6 years ago, and was like, oh my gosh, I found my people, like someone else that has this desire to not only to like succeed, but like Shayla was saying, to like be extraordinary and excel. And like many people, you might relate to this, would be like, oh yeah, you're good. You're already at this level. Like, why are you pushing so much harder? And it's just because of this innate desire to improve. Like, I just want to keep getting better at everything. And for as long as I can remember, I felt this need, this desire to like show people, especially women, that we can have it all. Like, I'm like, I can be the badass career woman. I can be the like connected, loving, supportive mom. I can have the marriage that is a role model for my children, and I can be healthy, and I can be just like spiritually connected and all the things. And it takes a ton of energy, but like my desire is so great for it that I'm always pushing. And so being in this community has created all these opportunities for me, and finding Shayla who like feels the same way and is like paving the road. And I'm like, oh my God, someone's doing it. Like, this is rad. And I'm really good at like seeing someone doing it and then being like, oh, hell yeah, now I can go get it. And so that's what we hope to be here for you, is like, we've wanted it and we're working on it. And I have so far from mastered anything, but I have the desire to keep improving. And that's what like wakes me up every day. It drives me and like keeps me going in this business 20 years later.
Yeah, it's not fun to hang around people who have plateaued in any way, or who have settled, or who are in apathetic mode. Like, this is good enough, right? It's funny because I was talking to a buddy of mine in the garage 2 days ago, and he's like, Shayla, you could never spend all the money that you have now. And I started laughing because my husband had just pulled in, right? And any of you that know Galen, I was like, Galen, listen what JJ just said. And he goes, oh my, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I could spend it all that fast.
Yes.
He's like, I know exactly what I would do. You know, I need to go here. We need to do this. We need to do that. And thank God I'm married to somebody who is a dreamer, who really has no limits. I go through my own worthiness stuff and deservedness stuff. And Galen's like, no, I mean, if there's a private jet to be had, why not have it? You know, like, if there's that experience, why not experience it? If there's 7 continents in this beautiful globe and all that, like, my daughter had to write a paper yesterday on wonder. Like, what is your perfect day? If you could live a day in joy and wonder, what would it be? I mean, we started talking about the Grand Canyon and the Northern Lights, and I mean, you know, scuba diving with whales, and I mean, just the biggest field full of flowers. And, you know, you start thinking like that and going, God, life is amazing. But, you know, the amazingness is out there, but not for people who are apathetic or settling or are just going to be okay. So I just read a book, and I would write this book down, guys. This is a book on health, wealth, and happiness. And every single part of it I resonated with. Amber, I know you're reading it too. It's called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And one of his lines says, in work, hang out with people that are more successful than you. In life, hang out with people that are happier than you. And isn't that true? Because we step up into the game and the people that we're around. So Amber, listen, you know, you don't share this a lot, but you've made millions of dollars doing this in this industry. Your husband's also an entrepreneur and has sold his first company and made a bunch of money and is working on his next startup. So I ask you all the time, I grill you all the time and say, are you still in? Why do you want to be a branch manager? Why do you want to recruit? You know, taking on loan officers is a lot, like, because we take them all the way on. We take on your good, your bad, your dysfunctions, your family, your dreams, your goals, your bad habits, your problems, the whole thing. Like, why do you want to do it? And when you go, because I don't quit, I don't know what you said to me that day, but what would you say if I asked you that again right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been something I've contemplated for a while, because my husband did sell his company a couple of years ago, and I had the opportunity to like get out. I don't need to work. And for the last 9 months, I haven't really made a whole lot of money. And so I thought for a long time I was doing this for the money, because obviously this business can be extremely lucrative and has changed my life financially. But my husband and I went on a hike last Friday for our 16-year wedding anniversary, and we were hiking and starting just to have some conversations. And I was like, keep asking me questions. Like, this is good. Because he's like, why are you doing it? And I was like, well, it's clearly not for the money, because if it was for the money, I would have gotten out like 9 months ago. And so I realized that like why I do this, and I leave my family on the daily basis when I don't have to, I have options, is my desire for significance in impacting people's lives. Like, I feel like I'm on this planet for a bigger purpose, to like make a difference. And I think that I can do that through the mortgage business. And I look at the people that have come through my life on my team, my realtor partners, my loan officers, and I see the impact that I'm making. And that's what drives me. Like, I want to change people's lives. And I think the way I do that is by living my life in a big way, by leading by example. And I want to pursue this have it all life of excellence. And so that's why I do it. And a lot of people have been like, you need to get out. Like, this sucks right now. And I'm like, yeah, this sucks. I've been like an emotional roller coaster the last couple, 9 months. But I'm like, there is no way. When you asked me, I was like, I am getting out when I am down. Like, I am a fighter and I am gritty and I am down right now. And there's no way that I'm going to let this market get me. I am determined to come out on top of this. And so I'm fighting through it.
I'm so happy you share that, because we all need these mantras. We all have to be talking to ourselves in the mirror more than anybody else. So I love it. And I love fighting next to you. It's fun to have other people that really just, around you. You're not doing it by yourself. Guys, this is my family, good girlfriends of mine, little snippets of my life in various places that we've been on. I've got 2 daughters as well that are 9 and 12. Gail and I are 42 years old. We live in Reno, Tahoe. Just got back from living in Spain for a couple years. This industry has empowered every dream that I could ever have. And now my husband just keeps dreaming. So here we go. Let's just keep growing. So what do I do? What is Shayla up to? I work at Guild Mortgage. I work on a national basis and on a very local basis. I helped found and create a coaching program at Guild about 5 years ago called Elevate. We have over 200-ish students and about 20 coaches in that program. We're really, really proud of the massive growth that we've had for our loan officers and just the incredible connection and community that we've built. And the coaching program is all built on our platform. So we use Salesforce and all the tools that we have so that not only can we be high touch, but we could be high tech and we could be leveraged. Because let's be real, we all need to be doing more with less, given margin compression and just the appetite of buyers and buyers being frozen. So I created Elevate. I still consult a lot with Paul Inertial, who runs Elevate. I'm still very involved with that. And then the last year, I've been on a journey to coach our branch managers at Guild Mortgage through a program called Lift. And Lift is about lead, inspire, focus, and thrive. And we focus on the fundamentals of being a business person in the mortgage industry. Not just a top producer, but a business person in the mortgage industry, which right now, that's what it's calling us for. How do you manage profitability? How do you manage productivity? How do you manage growth? How do you manage people, hiring the right people, putting them in the right seat on the bus? Man, this is really called for leadership and a business professional to the table. So I've had a lot of fun running Lift. And then now I've got this Facebook group going. There's the QR code everywhere so that you guys can join the Facebook group, because I realize the industry needs my leadership more than ever. And I also believe there's a lot of people out there that have never been exposed to a great company, culture, coaching, technology like Guild Mortgage has. And so I'm gonna get loud about it. I don't want Guild to be a secret like it has been. It's been the best kept secret. So I run 10 different branches across these states. I'm in Golden, Colorado with Vanessa. I've got Elko, Reno, and Sparks in Reno, Nevada. This is where I'm in Northern Nevada. I've got a branch down in Westlake Village in SoCal. And then Amber helps run the part of Phoenix down in the Valley. She runs Chandler and Scottsdale. And then I run a team up in Prescott as well. So that's where we are. Guild is in 49 states, everywhere except New York. I guess New York is a bitch to get licensed in. Sorry for my French. Okay. Let's talk about my story, because I think it's really relevant. And Amber's is very similar to what we're going to teach today, which is how do you level up in your business? How do you get that clarity? How do you know what's next in your growth cycle? For the first 5 years of my career, 6 years, I did not have a mentor. I did not have a coach. I did not have a great culture. I did not even have a great company. What I had was drive, desire, will, scrappiness, creativity. And I was able to close a lot of loans. Okay. I was very broke when I got in the mortgage industry. I was 23, I had $1,000 to my name. I had dropped out of college at 19. And I had to prove that I could be successful at this and, not not run and work for my daddy, who was a successful drywall contractor in Reno. Like I had to make it on my own. And I did. I plateaued at about $30 million in volume. I could just not break through that. There was only so much that one girl could do 24 hours a day. I didn't have a processor. I didn't have a team. I didn't really know any of that existed. And I worked like in a tiny closet of an office. But fortunately, the company I work for closed down a bunch of branches. And 1 month after I got married, and I literally was out on the street and going, oh my gosh, this industry has deluded me. I was number one in that company. Now here I am going, this industry is not good to people. They don't care about people. It's all about the money. Do I really align with the mortgage industry? And fortunately, I interviewed 9 different mortgage companies at the time and found Guild. And it was like literally, guys, the second best decision behind marrying Galen I've ever made, because I've now been here 13 and a half years. So the next 3 years, not only did I find Guild, but I was also introduced to coaching at the same time. And at that point, I was on my knees. I was surrendered. I was like, look, I would love guidance. Tell me what to do. Because my own ego, my own ideas had gotten me to a plateau, and I was working 12 hours a day. I was stressed out all the time. I was worried about losing that next deal or that next realtor. I didn't really have a plan. Every month I'd start over at 0 and go, hope I can get some loans going. So once I started getting coached and I worked a plan and I had a whole, we're going to talk about the plan, my team, and then I started building a team and creating leverage. We went from 30 million to 100 million in about 3 years. And you could see the units, guys. And the reason I want to bring this up is because some of my success, or a lot of it, is market dynamics. It's doing all the activities, it's being organized, it's being competent and efficient in those activities. But actually the market, if you look at how the market grew, helped me in my success. So I went from 94 to 231 to 514 units on the Gifford team in those 3 years. And then the next, whatever it's been, 10 years, I've been working on growing these branches and growing my team. And I'm really happy to say I've helped over 5 loan officers that personally work for me in my branches cross over $100 million in volume, and a lot do 50, 60, 70, because it's the plan, it's the process. You put people in a great culture with great tools that are driven and hungry, and the rhinos that we talked about that are courageous and authentic and strive for excellence, and boom, you blow up because you hang out with people who are blowing up, and it just happens. So, Amber, we're talking about this industry all the time, you and I, and it's like a ladder. So where are you at with the ladder? How do you relate to this?
I feel like I was like on the top of the ladder very recently, and feeling like, oh my gosh, like I've got to where I want to have gotten to. I've worked my tail off for 20 years and my vision's coming true. And my branch was full of people. We had like 35 people in the branch, this incredibly great culture. My team was set up where I was still in it, but they were really running the personal production. And then I got whacked, right? Just like we all did. And it's like, we knew that this shift was coming and that 2021 and 20 were just like too good of years, but obviously the shift was faster and worse than we had originally expected. And so I watched this branch that I built up, this family that I had created, crumble, over a 9-month period of time. And it was, by far the second hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life. My sister passed away about 5 years ago, and this was second to that. I mean, this like really rocked me because I have this like perfectionist nature, and I'm always trying to like take care and do the right thing. And I was just very questioning, like, oh my gosh, like what just happened, and having to lay off people for the first time in my career. I mean, I've had a team for about 16 years, and I always said I've never had to lay anybody off due to lack of production. And now I don't wear that badge anymore, through all of this. But one thing that is just in me, when my sister passed and when I went through this, I make a conscious decision that I will find the good and I will come out of it better. And so this has been hard, and I've had days where I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then I've had lots of days where I'm like, I am not good. But I'm just committed to coming out of this better and looking at it to figure out, what am I going to learn from it? Where do I want to be the next time? How am I going to build this better the next time? And like I said, just that grit to like get through it. So now we've got a much, tinier, but mighty group. We've got all the A++ players, right? And we are just like in it together. And so our family just got crazy tight and we're all, doing more. But it's not that bad, right? It's been like a good kind of thing to be like, okay, where can we build in some automation? Where can we get more efficient here? I mean, we were hiring people left and right for like, oh, we have a setup person do this, and we have a gifting person do this, and we have this person doing that. And now it's like, okay, whoop, rein it in. And everybody's job duties are going to expand a little bit. So I got knocked down on my ladder for sure, but I know.
And I think that's the point, is that, guys, what I've been telling everybody is that you need to take a picture of that former thing that you built, right? And so many people got so emotionally attached to it. Like, I heard people say, I finally got the perfect team. I finally built the team where I want it. I finally got my hours to where I want it. La, 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 la. And you know what? Just be proud of the fact that you did that. Okay. If you've been in this industry for a long time, you identify as the top producer, great. Take a picture of it, throw it on the wall, and truly be proud of it. But stop looking at it and comparing it to today. That's old news. You need to get out a new shovel, dig a new hole, and go, what is the new foundation I'm going to build? What kind of business do I want to build over the next 3, 5, 7 years in this industry? And then get excited about that hole, that thing that you're doing. And I've seen you make that shift, Amber, and a lot of people that I've been working with. Once you've made that shift, it's fantastic. You can go back up there going, how do I climb to that next rung on the ladder? How do I get to that next level and have fun doing it again?
Yeah. And there's a book that I'm reading right now that's really helped too. I highly recommend it. It's called Be Your Future Self Now. And the premise of the book is, where do you want to be in 5 years? Who do you want to be? What do you want your life to look like? And being really clear on that so that you're making decisions today that will ensure that you become that person. And so it helps me in the now to be making the decisions, doing the hard things that I maybe don't want to do, because I know where I want to be in 5 years. And I think that that's the clarity that we all need, is like, okay, I'm here right now. Where am I going to be in 5 years? And what decisions am I going to make today to make sure I become that person?
Yeah, right on. Share that book in the chat. That is everything, guys. You don't just show up to this magical place in 5 years without being deliberate and intentional on how to get there. So, all right, we're going to dive into some more meat here. So let's get ready. If you haven't been using your pen and paper, this is where I need you to. Okay. So in order to find success, there's 4 things you need. Number 1 is competence. Okay. I want you to really be honest with yourself every single day and saying, how can I get better? How can I get more competent? A lot of us had delegated all kinds of things out and are back going, oh my gosh, do I even know how to pull a credit report? Do I know how to do a rapid rescore? Do I know how to work with my Salesforce and really drive a CRM and build reports and do all this stuff? Well, guess what? You can do it. Everybody can do it, but you've got to just dive in and say every day, I want to become more competent. Some of you haven't done, a manufactured home in a while and you're back doing manufactured homes, or you haven't done a jumbo loan, or you haven't, whatever the case is. We're always learning. And I think that's why we're addicted to this industry. But you've got to really evaluate, how was that pre-approval meeting? Was I competent? Was it effective? Not how efficient was I today? Was it effective? When you get off of that phone call, did you book an appointment? Yes, but did you leave the person really thinking? Were they excited? Did you leave an impression? Am I competent? How am I at a networking event? The next thing is confidence. How is your confidence? How are you showing up? Are your shoulders back? Are you smiling? Are you feeling like, do you have swagger, right? That's a skill set. Confidence is a skill set that you can get. So evaluate, where am I sitting with that? Certainty. Do I know where I'm going? Or, at the end of every week, go, how many times did I question my thoughts on a daily basis, hourly or minute basis? Or am I looking at it once a month? The more certainty you have about your plan and where you're going, the less you should really be questioning. The only thing you're questioning is, am I on the right track? Am I working the right plan based on my goals? So Amber's talking about thinking 5 years out on the person she wants to become and the life she wants to become. Some of you need to just think like second quarter. What am I trying to accomplish second quarter? And stop questioning, just nail it for the second quarter. Get your head down and do it. Bottom line is, do you have a plan? Okay. This one's really important, Amber. I want you to just talk about the levels of motivation. Like, why do we get out of bed? And it's okay to say, here's where I'm at, or whatever. But think about realtors when you're calling them, as she's talking about this.
Yeah. So the first level of motivation is survival. And this is like when I first got into the industry, I was a server. I had to make the calls. I had to go to the open houses. I had to make it work. Like, I didn't have an option. This is how I was going to pay for everything, my bills, take care of myself financially. And being in survival is not necessarily a bad motivation. Like, it will make you do the things. And I know there are a lot of loan officers and definitely a lot of realtors that are in survival right now. But the goal is to get out of survival. We don't want to stay in survival for our whole business. And so that's what Shayla and I are talking about today, is how do we go up this ladder, up the motivation scale. So survival. Next thing would be nice things, right? This is when you're like, oh, this is fun, right? I get to go buy the second home in Flagstaff, and I get to, have the Tesla and buy all the nice things. And so that's the next rung that we're trying to get to. And for some, you were at nice things and now you're back at survival. And I know you want to get back at nice things, because that's where the business is really fun. The next is freedom. This is when you can build a business that gives you your time freedom. We've all been in it or are in it right now, where you feel like your business owns you instead of the other way around, right? And you're like a slave to the business, and your nights and weekends, and you're sacrificing time with your family, and you're willing to do what it takes because you're committed and you're all in. And I was that for a long time. And then my kids started getting older, and I was like, I will not have regrets that I missed out on so much because of the mortgage business. And then that was my motivation for my freedom. And I figured out how to have leverage through my team and through systems. And I set boundaries, and I said, okay, this is the new me. I want to be present with my kids and be this amazing mom. And I had to set up my systems to support that. And then the last rung that we're all really pushing for is legacy, right? Like right now, my goal is, how do I set up my loan officers, my team, everyone in my branch to have this extremely lucrative career that helps them accomplish all of their financial goals, so that they can do all the things that I've been able to do, that I'm doing. Shayla introduced us to this dream workshop, and I've got everybody in my branches dreaming. One of the gals in my branch was like, I don't dream. Dreaming sounds like off limits for me. I'm just going to disappoint myself. And I went through the dream workshop with all of them, and she was the first one to write down 100 dreams. And I swear, just the idea of all of these things she wants in her life, I saw her motivation just like go to another level. And so this is now this legacy of the impact that we make on other people.
Beautiful. All right, let's talk about building wealth. Okay, because I like to talk about money a lot, because I don't think many people do. And the reality is every time we listen to somebody speak, we're on stage, we're watching, we're going, are they credible? Do they have the right to talk about what they're talking about? Are they a valid teacher? Because the reality is, guys, if we're at work, we are there to build wealth, period. End of story. Otherwise we would be hanging out on the boat or hiking today or gardening or taking a nap, right? So how do you build wealth? I love Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant, read it. Do a book study with your realtors, because this gets us back to like, why do we do this industry? And especially if you're a real estate agent, this is written for real estate agents, right? So the first level of the cash flow quadrant of building wealth is an employee. This is where we all start generally, right? It's the E quadrant, which means you have a job. Okay. Generally speaking, when you have a job as an employee, you've got a cap on your income. That's where you start. So the next goal would be to become S, or self-employed, which means you own your job. Okay. You've got more freedom, flexibility. You can choose when you work, when you don't work. You can build as big of an income as you can build as a self-employed person, but there are limitations, right? I remember thinking at some point, if I go on vacation, how much money is this costing me? If you're a chiropractor or an attorney and you charge X dollars per hour, well, if you're not working, you're not earning those X per hour. So yes, it's better than being an employee, but if you stayed in that rung forever, that might not get you the level of wealth that you're looking for. So the next one would be B, having a big business, which is 50 plus employees. This is when you actually have leverage. You've got enough people around you where people can start managing departments and they can be in their expertise, their specialty. You know, when you get started as a self-employed person, you do everything. You've got to do the marketing, you've got to do the accounting, you've got to do your P&Ls, you've got to clean the toilets, you've got to stack the waters in the lobby. You've got to do everything. But as you create leverage, you can go, you know what? You are damn good at processing. I'm going to let you own that and you be the boss of that. You're really good at financials. You be the boss that you run that. And even if you have the capability of getting everybody to work in their zone of genius, it's unbelievable what you can accomplish. Okay. Now, not everybody wants to be a B. They don't like managing people. They don't want the pressure. They don't want to have that many people's livelihoods depending on them. Some people will skip over that to become an investor. Okay. So as a self-employed person, the reason we love this industry is you can make a ton of money. And if you are smart about it and you're focusing on freedom, not just time freedom, but also financial freedom, retirement, you build assets. Okay. You invest, whether it's a stock market or whether it's fix and flip real estate or cash flow real estate. There's so many things. And I need a whole talk on money because I love this topic. And it's something that you got to work on a lot. You can't, if you want to build wealth, it's an active process. Okay. So many people have been saying this is hard. And I'm going, you know what? I don't like the word hard. If you want to be in business, if you want to run a team, if you want to grow referral partners, it's an active process. You've got to stay engaged. Okay. So try those words instead of saying, oh, this is just so hard. But remember the cash flow quadrant and be thinking about where you're at and where you're going. This is me giving you clarity for the future. Okay. This is me 20 years in the industry and going, I work a lot on the I quadrant. I'm still working a lot on the S and I'm working a lot on the B, but I focused on building those different quadrants. Okay. And anyone can do it. So now I want to see, as we're questioning, is this industry worth it? What's happening in our industry? So real quick, run us through this one, Amber.
Yeah, you guys, it is hard right now. And the reason why it's hard is look at these numbers. In 2021, origination volume was 13.5 million. In 2022, it was right about 6 million. And right now we're sitting at about 4.6. So that is some serious constriction in the origination volume. But also what happened is the number of originators went crazy, right? As people got in thinking easy money, now we have even more loan officers with a much lesser amount of volume. And so we're competing against people who shouldn't be in the industry, right? And we're seeing them get out, and that's just going to take some time. And that's why I know that this is just the long game right now. We all know what works. We just need to keep on the plan and do the activities. Even though the results are not coming, we've got to be confident in the fact that we are working the right plan. This is the plan that we believe in, and do the activities, plant the seeds. My visual is always just I'm planting seeds. I am planting massive seeds, and I can't necessarily see them sprouting right now, but I know that I've got them in the ground all over the place, and it's going to come, it's going to happen, and I'm going to have a really big harvest. And this is that time where if you've got that really gritty mindset, go take market share. Know that your competition is scared, is sitting on the sidelines, and is waiting for it to be easier, and go out and dominate, because our realtor partners need us right now. They need the creativity, they need the true partnership, and they need us to be their confidant. They need us to be how are you doing? For real, how are you doing? And a lot of my realtors are doing actually pretty good right now because they've got listings. And so they're still busy, but we need to be talking about what does this look like to help them with their, with their business. So,
and the reality is too, Amber, is that a good realtor might do 10 deals. So if they constrict 10%, they're down to 9. And they might not feel it like us, right? Whereas a good loan officer does 200 and we constrict down 40%, that's a lot. That we're down 80 deals, right? So Yeah, this is in numbers and units. I got this from the MBA forecast, and it was really shocking. But you guys, I showed you my story earlier, and I was looking at it. Look, in 2003, there was a big blip in terms of refinance action. I got involved in 04. So the market went up, got a little better in 05. And then look, the market got worse, if you follow the gray line, all the way down to 2009. So you wonder why I plateaued. Well, I was busting my ass, but I plateaued. A lot of that is the market. Well, what do you know? In 2009, I get coaching. And guess what? From 2009 to 2012, when I started really hustling and putting this stuff in place, not that I wasn't hustling before, but I had a plan, I had clarity, I was working a plan. So many of my competitors were like, oh, I'm tired, I'm not doing anything, because they had just ridden from the top of 05 all the way down to the bottom. But I was the young buck going, I have a plan, I've got clarity, I am going after it. And it was in that time that we took over market share. I didn't do that intentionally. I was just driven, and I had the right people around me and the right company behind me and did the work. And all of a sudden, boom, we were number one market share, and I'm doing $100 million in volume. So know that part of this is just the cycle, but look in 2024 and 25, guys, the expected volume in our industry, 2.3 and 2.4 trillion. That's more than 2019. So yeah, we had a big dip, a big fall off the last 2 years. The bigger the party, the bigger the hangover. But you see that we're going to be better than 2019, and 2019 was a great year. Obviously, we all talk about the demographics. So again, when you look at macroeconomics, guys, you've got to just look at the macros and get out of your head and stop being emotional. We've got 73 million millennials. More are turning 33 and 34 every single day, which is the age of the first-time home buyer. So we're going to have this household formation. We have demand coming in and wanting it stuff. Now, is it going to be challenging and hard? Hell yes. Because until rates are at 5.5 for a sustained period of time, supposedly that's the magic number, you're not going to get sellers to sell their house. So we're going to have more and more buyers and pre-approvals and whatever, and we don't have any houses for them to buy. Again, you just have to keep focused on the long term and what you're building. And so the industry, yes, is worth it. How do you position yourself? First of all, manage your money. Like, are you doing a budget? Do you have at least 3 to 6 months of the money you need in reserves? I'm living off of reserves for the first time in 18 years, right? I'm back on survival mode. Even though I'm in investor mode, I'm living on both ends, you know? Gail and I were talking last night. I think we should switch cell phone carriers because our cell phone bill is too expensive. Yeah, because if you are being intelligent and you're building wealth, you're doing that all the time. It's an active, engaged process. You got to manage your expectations, just like we talked about. And then third, own a niche. Do you have a niche? Like reverse mortgages, we just bought Cherry Creek. They have a huge reverse mortgage department that's very successful. We're bringing that in-house with Guild and servicing those loans. My team, we are going to dominate reverse mortgages. We are going to get in there. I don't care how hard it is. We are going to learn it because I think it's first-time home buyers and then people over 62. You got all these people have wealth and equity in their home, like game on. That's what we want to do. Manufactured homes, we're damn good at these. You want a single wide, you want a cross mod, you want a let's get good at that. It's a niche. It's an affordability sector, first-time home buyers, condos. Just own a niche and you will find a way to succeed in this market. All right, so companies. So a lot of people are like, is the industry worth it? And then they're going, am I at the right company? Listen, last webinar that we did was all about business models and margins. Okay, I will send a recording to everybody who's on this call of that last call if you didn't see it. But I talk about all the expenses that happen in the mortgage industry and what the margins and revenues are that drive the interest rates. What I can tell you guys is that all the wild stuff you're seeing right now is short term. It's like when people are drowning and they're throwing their hands in the air and they're trying all this wild stuff. That's what's happening now. When you make decisions about where to align yourself, what company to work for, what people you're going to go into business with, you've got to think long term. Does the company have a strategy to win today? And is the company built to win and win long term? And are they thinking long term and making investments long term? So go back and look at that webinar so you can see what models are happening, where you're seeing margins for those models. I think it's really helpful. But what I think in terms of for company is, as a model, larger lenders right now will do better in compressed times. Why? Because every company has to pay for compliance, for legal, for licensing, for a QC department, for marketing, if they're going to offer you marketing help, for technology, if they offer you technology. If you do 100 loans and your expense is 100,000, you're paying $1,000 per loan for those services. If your expenses are 100,000, but you do 2,000 loans, you're only paying $500 a loan. And if you do $5,000, you guys get the point, is that more loans helps bring the cost per loan down. And this is why the industry is having such a hard time right now. And you see companies that are going to be recording their first quarter losses to their warehouse lines and to the public markets. It's because a lot of the costs are the costs. You need to run a business with these costs. So more volume, more units, larger models are going to be easier. Strategy, short-term versus long-term investments, product offerings. Are you on the cutting edge? This is really important. And then support. Where are you on this levels? We're going to talk about it. And are you surrounded by people, leadership, coaching that are going to help you get to that next level and provide what you need? All right. So if you're a leader right now, I think this is really important. There was a moment in time where I went a little bit sideways, and I thought, I get offered tons of money to go other places and do other things. And, should I get distracted by that? Should I follow the shiny thing? And I had to really dig deep, because I think that big decisions require like a lot of thoughtfulness into what do I really want? That way, if you go through the hard part of deciding what you want, what you care about, and what your values are, everything else is easier. Everything can either be a hell yes or hell no much, much quicker. For me, I said, why do people stay loyal to a company? Somebody asked me that at the last webinar. First, I think it's trust. Do I feel trusted? And do I trust others that I'm working with? Okay. So my processor, why is my processor still here after 10 years? Does she feel trusted? Does she feel empowered? My area manager, does he feel respected? Do I feel respected? If I work at a company where I don't feel trusted or respected, see ya. I just can't do it. I don't know about you guys, but this is fundamental for me. So do I feel respected? What does it mean if you're respected? Do people listen to me? Do people take my ideas? Do they speak kindly about me? Do they have my back? And the third is appreciation. I like appreciation. I'm a salesperson. I want a pat on the back. Our CEO and president, Terry, the other day said, hey, I want to take you to lunch. I'm like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? What'd I do? And she said, listen, I just want to know what you're up to and be behind you and let you know I'm 100% behind you. That appreciation of feeling like you see me and you see my effort and how hard I'm working goes a long way. My processor needs to feel that. My administrative assistant yesterday on administrative assistant day, everyone wants to feel appreciated. Do I feel connected? Am I out on an island on my own? Do I feel like I've got homies? Do I have a family within a family? And then do I have growth? What is a growth opportunity? Every single person, from your receptionist to your underwriter to all of us, wants to figure out how we continue to grow. I think, I believe what Tony Robbins says, that happiness is found in progress, that we can build confidence by saying we can get better at that thing. We can attack that thing. We could try this new thing. And I'm more on fire right now, taking on different projects and growth and, builder capital to help them with vertical construction and learning this new thing, and reverse mortgages, learning that thing, and taking on wealth teams, building that. Anyway, I'm stoked on all the growth. So these are the 5 tenets, and you hopefully are taking notes, and you can quickly assess, do I feel that way? Do I trust others? I don't know, but for me, could you work with people you don't respect? No. Guess what? I did it actually for the first few years of my career. I literally hung in my own office, was like, I don't want to be affiliated with those people. I don't want my name associated with those people, but I didn't know any different. I didn't know that everybody wasn't a douchebag in this industry. So I didn't. And now that I do, I'm like, oh, I refuse to be in that other, it's a worthiness thing, right? So anyway, here's the recruiting pitch for 2 seconds, and then we'll get on to this levels in the business and where to grow. This is why Amber and I love Guild, amongst 1,000 other things. But Guild's been in business for 63 years. 96% is our customer sat score on a long ass survey. 55% is retention in our portfolio. So we have 300,000 loans in our portfolio. And what that's done is it's provide financial stability. See, what happens here, guys, in mortgage is like right now, origination is losing money. Guild lost 28 million in the fourth quarter. Rocket lost 68 million in the fourth quarter. But when you have a servicing portfolio, every loan kicks off cash every single month. It's like that annuity, consistent cash flow. And when rates go up and you've got a portfolio of loans at 3.5%, and now rates are at 7%, the value of those loans goes up, the MSR value, because the likelihood that they will pay off through sale or refi is low. So you've got origination volume falling and you've got servicing rising in value and kicking off consistent cash, and it's the perfect hedge. Now, the inverse happened in 20 and 21. The portfolio is running off at a rapid rate because people are refinancing and selling. And even though we're retaining 55% of those customers come back to Guild, you're losing value in there, but you're making a ton of money on the origination side of the business. So that's a good economic model. And then we're in 49 states and we do all this stuff to retain. So it all comes back to retail. We're a retail company. And so all of our Salesforce systems and everything's built to retain that customer for life. We credit monitor them. We monitor their listings. We monitor their activity on Zillow. All of our names as loan officers on their mortgage statements. But most importantly, it's the people. It's the people. It's your vibe, is your tribe. This was us last week, a couple of weeks ago when we were in Mexico. So I just took it from my phone. I thought it was fun. Amber, anything else you want to say? I want to get deep because we're 55 minutes in.
Yeah, I think that the big difference for me, because I was at a servicing lender before this, but at Guild, when they're working their servicing portfolio for retention, they're kicking every single opportunity back to the loan officer. Like the whole strategy is like, how do we get them back to the loan officer? Not how do we get them to our consumer direct department so that we can keep them in our portfolio and pay a way lesser commission to someone in our consumer direct. And so that feels so good to me to know that my company is like working behind the scenes to get them back to me so that I can retain that relationship. So it's just that trust.
Yeah, and you are who you hang around, Amber. Your volume and you were plateaued for a long time. You come around here and you go, oh my gosh, look what's possible. And you came from a good company. You came from Caliber, and all of a sudden you know your income doubled, and then it doubled again. And part of it, that is the market, but part of it is just, I think your lid was removed. You all of a sudden were like, okay, I'm hanging around these people. I'm going to show up different. And I've seen that.
It was the care. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I thrive on like people caring about me and me feeling like they've got my back and they're here to support me instead of the opposite. And that was a shift I didn't even know could make such a tremendous difference in my business.
Yeah, you can't put an ROI on being cared for and supported, right? It's just hard to evaluate. Okay, so hey, if any of you guys want to have a one-on-one call with Amber and I, scan this QR code, fill out a little survey, and tell us you want to talk to us. Okay. Listen, I've created more time in my schedule since the last webinar because I had several people wanting to have a call. And so I still have people from last call that I need to, but every time I talk to a loan officer, whether you're in Connecticut or Georgia, or I'm meeting you face-to-face in person in one of the states and markets I'm in, I learned so much about where is the psyche of everybody else. It helps me remember, oh, okay, I was at that exact place. Here's exactly what I did. Here's the plan. Here's a script, or here's a form, or here's a strategy. I get a lot out of it. I know Amber does too. And that's the point for putting ourselves out there, is we would love to book some appointments. So if you're one of those people, you are worthy of a call. I had a guy sit in my conference room just the other day. He goes, Shayla, I'm doing like a loan every other month right now. And I don't know. And I said, listen, if it was like 6 years ago, I wouldn't have hired you because I was running so fast and in my origination business and all these other things, I wouldn't have felt like I could support you. But today, two things: I have the capacity. Okay. I've grown in my leadership and built capacity. Number two, your value is not in your numbers today. We as leaders have to bet on the horse, because the top producers of the future are not going to necessarily be the top producers of the past. It is going to be the people that do what we're talking about. So you need to get your worthiness in place and go, no, I'm willing to do the work. We're going to talk about confidence. So we've looked at the industry, we've looked at the company, and now we're looking at yourself. Okay. You've got to look in the mirror and say, do I have what it takes to succeed? If you just say, no, I just don't have it, then get out, please. Bye-bye. We need more of you out. Right. But if you believe, yes, I have what it takes, then you need to get this clarity in place and say, what's next for me? What is that next thing? And then how do I improve? The people that have the too big of an ego, nobody gets me, nobody understands me, my borrowers are different, I'm just in a different market, like, you aren't going to be helped. That is your ego taking over. The person that says, you know what, if I'm having this struggle or this problem, I'm probably like a lot of other people, that a lot of others are feeling that way too. How do I fix it? You start asking better questions, you get better solutions. So think about the quality of your questions and what you're doing. And then what is your plan? Do you have a plan? Do you have a financial plan? Do you have a business plan? If not, you got to hang around us for a lot longer, and we're going to do some mini workshops and power workshops to help you with that. So I'm really excited about this. Okay. This is, oh, Katie, dang it. I wanted you to have the second slide do this. Shoot, I have this slide with all these descriptors on this. So I'm going to send it as a backup, unless Katie, you know how to fix it from the back end. But this is just from a numbers perspective. Okay. This is how I see that there's 7 levels in the business. Okay. So level 1, most of us get started as an LOA. Okay. What does an LOA have to do? Whatever the LO asks them to do. Okay. You might start converting leads. You might start doing thank you cards and calling past customer database. You might start handling escrows and collecting documents from borrowers and doing Tuesday update calls. It doesn't matter, but if you're an LOA on this call, your goal is to get your hands into everything. The LOAs that worked on my team are some of the most successful loan officers I have today, because they got to swing the bat over and over and over and over and over again. And working on a top producing team where you get that opportunity, you gain so much experience quickly. So I believe an LOA is probably that's getting a ton of good experience, is handling probably 50 leads, and or is handling 20 escrows. That might be like 10 closings, but there's 20 in a pipeline. I know that things are depressed and down right now, but a great LOA who's really maximizing and crushing it needs to be able to handle both of those things in order to really say, I've got the confidence, okay, to then jump into that newbie LO role, where as a newbie LO, this could be you work for a call center, this could be you work for a big team, this could be, I don't know, you work somewhere where they hand you referrals, okay, a team LO. You're probably going to have to do a lot more leads, especially if you're working low-level leads, internet leads, what have you. And you're closing 0 to 7 deals. You're probably making less commission on those because you're being fed business. Okay. But again, you're just working on building your competence and your confidence, and the reps are really helping you. The next stage is to become an independent LO at level 3, where you're now putting yourself out there. You are on your own. You are building your brand. You are saying, this is me. I'm an S. I own my job. I'm in business for myself. And this is where it gets the toughest, in my opinion. If you've got the competence and you know how to do guidelines, you know how to do loans, you know how to manage escrows, now you got to figure out how to go out, put yourself out there and generate 25 leads a month consistently. Okay. So right now, if you don't have a goal and you don't have a plan, just write that one down and then track your leads. Every week, you need to be getting 6 leads a week, every week. Where are you going to get them? We're going to talk about that in a minute. I don't care. Figure it out. Okay. Once you're doing 25 leads consistently, you'll start closing about 3 to 5 deals. Okay. As that compounds and you're closing 6 consistently 3 months around, I think it's at that point you need to get an LOA on your team. Now, some of you will work in a branch where you've got shared access to a transaction coordinator or whatever. Great. Leverage everything that you can leverage, but your game will change when you hire someone directly working for you 40 hours a week and you're committed to consistently generating the number of leads needed, and continuing to grow your referral base and everything else. Why? Because I don't know about you, but I was more successful, Amber, when I cared about Lynette's paycheck more than my own paycheck. I cared about her financial stability and job security more than mine. I was a crazy LO. I could ride the roller coaster. I could make one big check and not big check or whatever. But when I started building a team and saying, okay, you're putting your life on the line and your financial stability on me as a rainmaker, I got really focused on being consistent in lead generation. So that's 50 leads a month consistently.
The other thing that happens, I think, when you hire your first LOA is you have to create systems and structure. So when you're running all independently by yourself, you can be kind of like crazy, fly by the seat of your pants. But as soon as you bring someone on, you're like, uh-oh, I have to train them on things. I have to have checklists and systems. And so that helps you to elevate your game. But tell me if you agree. I think the hardest step in the industry is to go from 3 to 4, because that 3 is that like messy middle where you're doing everything. You're doing it all on your own, and you're trying not to be on the roller coaster. Prospect, prospect, prospect. Uh-oh, really busy. Close loans. Uh-oh, no business. Oh, prospect, up and down. You're trying to stay on this like little roller coaster, building to get the team. So this is where, when you're in step 3, you've got to get like super gritty and like determined. And in my opinion, you've got to be around the right people and be coached to get to level 4, because I think that's the hardest step.
I 100% agree. And then a lot of loan officers that are really, really good loan officers, like they know their guidelines better than anybody. They communicate and follow up better than anybody. Their customer service is better than anybody. I go, that's great. You could be the best loan officer there is, but doesn't mean you're the most paid loan officer. Mm-hmm. You're not the highest paid or most successful, because you got to be able to put all those parts and pieces together consistently, right? Now, listen, some of this just has to do with the market. Some of you are putting all the parts and pieces together and you're going, but it's not happening. I'm 3 loans one month and 1 loan the next month and 3 loans. That's the market. The point is, build your competence, build your confidence, have your clarity, and have a plan, because as the market changes, all of that compounding will come together, and you will see people go from doing 2 to 3 loans to 15 and go, where did that person come from? And you're like, I've been working in the dark. Mm-hmm. I'm an overnight success. Not, right? So yes, I would 100% back you, Amber, that having coaching and having a plan and having accountability for level 3 is so important. The other thing is realtors, guys. The reason why I can kick somebody's butt that's at level 3 many times is because a lot of you that have lived in this world, and I lived there for 6 years, are not consistent. They will go meet a realtor and they'll kill it for about 3 months. And then they get overwhelmed, and then they don't have the same organizational consistency of performance. And it's why they don't land a builder. It's why they don't stick with a realtor long-term, because it's that consistency. They know when they hand you a lead that this is a system. They know when they hand you a pre-approval that this is a system. And so having a plan and being able to articulate the plan and articulate it as it changes, and you add people to your team and different people do different parts and pieces, it's a skill set, right? Number 5, but it's a skill set you can learn. The level 5 is now you've got a team. So you have more than one LOA. Okay. And that's when it gets interesting, because when you just have one person, you just throw them everything. Hey, can you get me coffee? Can you get thank you cards? Can you run this gift over here? Can you get a closing gift? Can you collect these 5 conditions, blah, blah, blah. But now when you have more than one, you need to know what are their strengths, and you don't want to hire the same people with the same strengths. These people need to be smart, charming, and competitive, and they're working on your lead conversion and just attacking it. These people need to be smart, great at customer service, and detail-oriented, and they're scrubbing all your pre-approvals and running your pipeline. And guess what? You could go on vacation for 7 days and the business is functioning, especially if you're using tools and you're leveraging text messaging and HomeBot and BombBomb and delayed send emails and all the things that we could do so that you can hack your success and still have some life balance, right? So the LO teams are far and wide. At one point I had like 14 people on my personal team. Right now we've got about 5 of us on the Gifford team. The next step, level 6, is to lead salespeople. So some people love being at level 5 and that's where they are, right? Denise Donahue is somebody that I think about is like the best at this right now. She's crushing it. She did 600 deals last year. I interviewed her. She's on my Facebook group, by the way, one of the best interviews. Get on my Facebook group. It's on there. But she has not wanted to necessarily lead other salespeople because she's just been on a growth trajectory of running her team. But some people are like, listen, I've been through level 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to help others go through level 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're really called to do that. And that takes a special person that, again, requires special skill set, especially if you're a producer also leading other salespeople. How do you balance and what does your time blocking look like to manage your own business and help drive and support other people? And then the last one I think is a mortgage business person. And this is a wide range as a career choice that are helping 3 to 1,000 salespeople. How, again, are you a producer or non-producer? What do you do? So this is fun. I would love to take a poll. Tell me, where are you at? What level are you at right now? And where do you want to get to by the end of 2024? Okay, so I'm asking you for like a 1.5 year vision. You might be in LOA and you might be saying, I want to get to level 3. What is that? So throw that in the chat. Gosh, I thank you for all the positivity in the chat. You guys are amazing. Oh, and there's some positive guilt stuff in here too. Thanks, Kate. This is fire. I agree. All right, you're at 3 and you want to be a deep level 4. I like that. Oh, you're level 2 and you want to get up to level 4. That's a clear vision. Awesome. 3.5 and I want to be at a 5. Okay, that's good. Maybe there's like a, a range, 3 1/3, 3 2/3. I'm a level 2 and I want to get to a level 4 by the end of next year. I'm a level 2 and would love to be a level 4. Yes. Look at that, 2 to a 5. Hey, you guys saw my growth. I went from 94 units to 500 units in 3 years. So this is absolutely possible.
I think so much of the power behind this is just having the plan. Like many people don't even have never seen anything like this or know the plan or around people coaching them on this plan. And so once you can see where do I want to be in the future? And then you can work backwards to be like, what do I have to do today to get there? And then just go get it. But a lot of people, I think, just get stuck because they don't know what the next step is. And I know for me, what was really hard too is once I started hiring team and I had a couple of people, it was like, oh my gosh, now what does this person do? And what are their metrics? And how do I, motivate them and inspire them and coach them? And so it's just this constant evolution, right? Of figuring out how to be a damn good loan officer to figuring out how to be a damn good leader. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs along the way. But if you surround yourself around the right people and you figure out what you really want, you'll figure it all out. And that's that growth that you get. That's what really drives you in this business.
Yeah, it's fun to put a plan in place and see the plan working. And like you said, first you have to be able to conceive it. This is part of conceiving it. Now, this is a PowerPoint. What's more powerful is when you actually get into a room or in a coaching program and you start talking to people and you're like, oh, especially now that I've given names to this, right? And this is just Shayla stuff. This is just me identifying it and the way I look at it and how I support people. But just if you were interviewing for a job with somebody tomorrow, if you were interviewing with me and you said to me, okay, here's where I'm at. I'm a new BLO. This is how many leads I get my hands on. These are the kind of deals I get my hands on. This is my level of competence. But in a 1.5 years, I want to get to this level. This is my vision. This is what I want to do. As your leader, I'd be able to go, hell yes, I am behind you. This is what we're going to do. And here's our plan for the second quarter. And this is our cadence for accountability. This is why we created Elevate Coaching. Because if you are somebody closing 3 loans a month, you need to have a coach that's closing, 8 loans a month and can remember exactly what it was like to be at 3 and what it took to get to 6 and 7 and 8. And when you're closing 15 loans a month, you need somebody who's closing about 25 and could say, I remember when I had 2 people on my team and, all the struggles of what that is. And here's what you need to do next. So really cool. I'm glad that you brought that up. This is the one that Katie put back in there that talks about what the job duties are. I verbally explain that. Yes, we're going to send you guys all the recording. And Katie, what would be cool, I think, is to actually just take these 2 slides as an attachment to our follow-up email for everybody that comes to this call. Because I mean, this might just need to be what you guys put on your wall and be able to say, okay, this is where I'm at. That's where I'm going. This is where I'm at. That's where I'm going, to give you that clarity and to hang out with other people that are at that level and go, okay, well, what are they doing? What are they saying? And how's their pre-approval? And just be a student of the game. Okay. All right. So let's just dive into some other things. Confidence. Okay. How do you build confidence? What is confidence? Okay. Now you can either have situational confidence where you can go, if I'm hosting a party at my house, I've got confidence. If I go into a dinner where I don't know anyone, I don't have confidence. If I am at a pre-approval meeting in my office, I got confidence. When I'm talking to a rate shopper, I don't have confidence. So you can learn confidence. And the goal for me and for you and for everybody I touch is to have enduring confidence. Okay, write that down. Enduring confidence. Enduring confidence means in the face of challenges and adversity, that we can remain confident, that we can remain authentic to ourselves, that we can be thrown in the wash of life and we can stay authentic to who we are. We can be open-hearted and we can meet it authentically as who we are, that we can adjust in the face of adversity and challenge and adapt. And then also we can take action. So many people, as you see, in the face of challenge or adversity, they get rejected or they walk in thinking it's one thing and it's another, and they just go, oh, and they freeze. Okay. So what confidence is number one, a belief that I can handle this. Okay. You need to be saying this to yourself all the time. I got this. I can handle this. I got this. I can handle this. Yeah. You might not know how, but you just got to lean into life. You got to go out there and put a smile on and shake someone else's hand and ask some questions or just be a good listener. I believe things will work out well. Okay. If you're sitting around going, this is going to be a nightmare, this is going to blow up, I'm going to be broke. You're just stop right there. There's nothing more you can do. You're not going to have confidence. That's not going to build you up. So you've got to have an I can handle this, I got this attitude. And I believe that things will work out well. Why did we spend so much time on the front of this call talking about our story and the industry and what's going on? Because if you don't believe in a positive future, get out. You're not going to get confidence, and a lack of confidence is not going to attract you business. Okay. And then the feeling that you must have within you is that I'm willing to do the work. If you're not willing, you're not going to have confidence, right? I'm worthy of my success and I'm capable of getting the job done. So one of the areas in my life that I've had flailing confidence, I've not had enduring confidence, is around parenting. My daughters are really intense and they're hard, and it's just been challenging for my husband and I. It's not natural for me. Okay. But I show up every day wanting to get better, go to a therapist, read parenting books. I mean, on and on and on, because I want my confidence. And so I have to constantly say, I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to stick in there. I'm willing to be active. I'm willing to be engaged. I'm willing to start again. When I screw up and I scream at them like I did last night, I'm willing to take a deep breath. I can do this. I could do this. I'm worthy to do this. And I'm capable. I can do this, right? This is in all areas of our life. And I want you to think about this as you go out through your day. So how do you know you have enduring? Yes.
I think that part of that is like really listen to your self-talk. And if you have negative self-talk, it's going to be really hard to build confidence. And we're all going to have these like negative thoughts that pop into our brain. Like we're going into a big realtor meeting and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can, have a conversation. I don't know if they'll ever send me leads or whatever, but like notice it, pay attention to it, and turn it around into a positive self-thought. And like I do an affirmation every month and I write it 10 times every morning. And it's just like fueling your brain with these positive thoughts to build the confidence around something that maybe you're inherently not feeling so confident about.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you guys, I just looked at the chat again for a second. You know what's so cool? Like there's been consistently 90 of us on this call and everybody wants to grow. Unless some of you are like, nah, I'm fine. I'm apathetic. Like I'm going to stay the same. Isn't that fun to be around other people that are coming together on a Thursday that want to grow? They're like, I want to take my life. I want to take my business to the next level. I just get so much energy from that. So, okay. Amber just said about writing affirmations. This is the soft skills that make the difference between a top producer and somebody who rides a roller coaster and stays at a level 2 or 3 forever. Okay. I will tell you, it's these things, I promise. At the end of the week, I want you to look back. Okay. On Sunday, you should be preparing for your week. You should be looking 2 weeks ahead and say, do I have 4 break breads on the calendar? Do I have 2 events on the calendar? Am I working this 5-3-2? Am I doing 5 hours of power hour every week? Am I have 3 face-to-face appointments? So on Sunday, sit down and look at your week ahead and be mentally ready. And how do I get confidence in those situations? Number 2, reflect on the week behind you. And these are the things. So write them down. Number 1, self-trust. Did I trust myself? Did I trust myself to have that tough conversation? Did I trust myself to talk to an underwriter and propose a different solution? Did I trust myself to pick up the phone and call somebody I don't know, to do a cold call, to go to a networking event? Did I trust myself that I'm able and capable of doing this? Okay. And number 2, have I worked on situational skills? So going back to competence, did I work on my situational skills, the weapons that we need to be damn good at in this business? I believe you've got to be an advisor. You've got to learn mortgage coach and know how to talk to people about overcoming objections right now. If the agents are like, gosh, I can't get people to move, you need to learn how to demonstrate a cost of waiting analysis. If you got people who are like, I just can't get over the fact of the interest rates, you need to be able to demonstrate a permanent rate buy down versus a 2-1 buy down. The situational skills that we need to be a weapon in this industry is that kind of competence of being an advisor, the ability to speak. Like, are you getting in front of the room? If you are given the opportunity to be at somebody's sales meeting and somebody hands you the mic, are you bringing energy? Are you bringing value? Are you saying something that challenges and leaves a mark on people? Are you good in a one-on-one setting of really actively listening, taking notes and understanding where people's fears and blocks and objections might be? Are you good at saying what you really think or need or want, right? Those are all situational skills. So you've got to analyze, how am I doing at these fundamentals that I think would make me a weapon in my industry because I've gotten good at these pieces. The third is social experience. And guys, this is more important now than ever with COVID. So many people are like, God, I'm not good at networking events. Like, I show up and I'm kind of awkward and I don't know what to do. Well, you get confidence by having more social experience. I went out dancing at a bachelorette party, and this is what I was thinking about in Palm Springs at my sister's bachelorette party. And I'm telling you, and I'm always like, where's the best dancer in the room? I want to dance with the best dancer. I don't care how old they are. Whatever. And if they're 20 or 80, like, let's go, bring it. Right. So I'm wearing my confidence, and I'm telling you, none of the guys could look me in the eyes. They couldn't, I was like, whoa. And it made me apparent that because of COVID and things shutting down, people haven't had social experience. They haven't been doing that. And kids these days are on their phone and Tinder and everything else, right? So if you want to be good at public speaking, you got to speak. If you want to be good at networking, you got to go network. If you want to be good at getting on webinars and doing video, you got to do it. You've got to have the experience to build the confidence. And then the last is spiritual generosity. Like, are you honestly here to serve people? I hope you feel from Amber and I today, like, we really, really care about helping people have the success that we've been fortunate enough to have. We both believe that we are knuckleheads, that we are average people that are just weird because we have this crazy, insatiable desire to live a big life. And we take massive action towards it. And we believe that that's a teachable thing, and that there's a lot of other weirdos like us out there that really want to live extraordinary and blow it up and do cool stuff, and that need the skills that we've learned. That's it, right? And I hope you feel that there's a generosity there. People can sense it. People can sense if you are about yourself or if you're thinking about them. Like, what is your challenge? How can I help you? What's going on in your business? Over and over and over and over and over again, forever. I'm bringing value to you in the way that I'm being generous. All right, so what is the work in our business? It's building pillars of business, okay? Generating different pillars that your business is coming from. You know, we've, as an industry, worked realtors like crazy for the last 10 years. And that's it. I haven't met with CPAs and financial advisors and VK attorneys and all that for a while, because there was so much action going on the resale side that's where I just hung. Well, guess what? Now we got to go back to like, how many of you wish you had builders in your back pocket? They've got the inventory, right? Well, if you didn't work on that the last 5 years, you don't got them today, right? How many of you wish you had some good divorce attorneys that referred you consistently? Yeah, if you didn't work on it, you don't got it. So we all need to work on the pillars of business. We need to work on that generous giver's game mentality. How can I give? Are you somebody that can show up to open houses? Great, offer it. For me, I like to give value adds that are scalable. Okay, what I learned really quickly, I can't make flyers for 40 agents every week. That's not going to make me money. I'm not good at it. But what I can do, what I'm really good at, is selling the hell out of my realtors and edifying them so that I can get their buyers to be more sticky. I can also kill it in a pre-approval meeting and educate and motivate and create urgency with that buyer so that when they get with that agent, not only are they more committed to the agent, but they're taking action and listening. So find what is working for you and where you're at, and then get out there and give and bring value in that way. So we've got 8 minutes. And I'm going to just skip to a couple things really quick. This is kind of what you do when you're closing, but I want to spend a little extra time on the other stuff. Like if you've had fun today and you're like, what do I do next? First of all, I'm going to host a check it out call with Gil, like come behind the scenes, like understand why Amber and I, and so many people who have worked with us have had major growth and climbed up the ladder here. Because by the way, guys, when I started with Gil, I had no team. I was one girl. I was a level 2. I was an independent L. I was a level 3. And I've gone all the way to a level 7. And I've started national coaching programs and done all that stuff. I'm telling you, there's something powerful about Guild and the people I've surrounded myself with and all the tools and the leverage that I can't describe to you, but you just have to see it. So I'm getting all of our executives together and I'm going to host a little event, an hour and a half where we just poke behind the scenes and Guild not be a secret. So if you want to check that out, scan the QR code. I don't even know what day it is. I should tell you. It's like second week of May or something like that. Okay. Number 2, or you can pick all of these. Thank you, Katie. I love you. Pick one or pick all. Level 2, I'm going to start doing power workshops in my Facebook group, like planning and preparing for these master classes that are an hour and a half and doing all the PowerPoint. It's a lot for me. I'm best when I can just show up and teach you what I know and what I coach every single day, as is Amber, as is all the coaches and Elevate that I've got across Guild. And I love bringing on guests and like, all right, Paula, let's dive in and talk lead gen. And so anyway, that's how I'm going to continue to serve. So if you want to be a part of those, scan this QR code. I think it probably just takes you to my Facebook group. And I'll throw you in the newsletter so you know what the heck I'm working on and working on, focused on. And then finally, if you want a call with Amber and I, again, we're putting this up here. Okay. This is the point, right? In business, we work really hard to build relationships and build trust so we can earn appointments and then we can close. I promise you, we will not close you to come work for us unless it's a total match and there's total alignment and we really, really, really like each other. Choosing to move your career is a huge decision. Okay. So really dive in, but don't stay on the sidelines and say, I should have, could have, would have, or wish, or I wish I was cool enough. Like, don't be lame like that. Okay. So hopefully you got that. And I'm sure Katie will put it in my fantastic follow-up email. Now let's go back here. You got to win with consistency. So you got to have your goals in place. So if you're going from level 2 to 3, what are the goals? Okay. Level 2, your Fed business. So level 3, like you need to have 3 months of reserves in the bank. You need, this is probably where a good breakdown of, I could do these segments of videos where I could just say, okay, you're level 2, here's what you need to do. You're level 3, here's what you need to do. That's probably what I should do. But how many leads do you need? Where are you going to get the leads? What hours are you going to work? Time blocking. When am I going to start? When am I going to stop? How many face-to-faces? What's my target list? What am I going to say to the target list? What is my value add? What are my theme days? What do I do every single Monday? What do I do every single Tuesday? What do I do every single Wednesday? This is all stuff we coach and elevate. This is what stuff Amber and I live and die by in our branches and coach directly. And then accountability piece, right? So this is the playbook. This is why, Amber, I get fired up, is because I want other people to have the life that we've built and the success and learn the skills. But more than anything, it's because I believe the plan works. The person has to work it, but it's like, I've seen people that are introverted and quiet and shy. I've seen people that are really outgoing and off the charts bold. And I've seen people who have been doing this for 15 years, implement the plan and blow up. And I've seen people that are like a year in the business, implement the plan and blow up. That's what I love. It's like the plan. I trust in the plan more than the person. So that's why I'm
still your plan. And then you got to track it. You got to have a way to track your activity around the plan, because whatever you track improves. So if you need to be making more phone calls or seeing more people or getting more leads, start tracking those things, because every week that you have to write down that you saw 0 people face to face, or you met with 0 new realtors, it will motivate you if you really want to be great at this. So start tracking it.
Cool. All right, then we're going to speed through this, make it rain, because these are power sessions in of themselves. So with builders, listen, every one of you has some sort of expertise or a niche product. Coming in at a backup position for either a realtor or builder is really powerful. Like, listen, I'm sure you have a great referral partner. I'm sure you got a great lender who's closing on time, who's hustling, who's helping you convert leads, who's, showing up at your open houses, who's whatever. Because if you're really successful, you probably have somebody amazing. Which, by the way, when you start listing off all those things, a lot of times you're like, well, they're not really doing that or that very well. And I guess I'm just comfortable. And it starts making them question. Okay. But listen, I want to be your backup. I like being the underdog. I have this, with the builder, I've got a 365-day lock. I've got the Strong Start program that allows for all these different ways that a seller credit could be used. Let me make you a mortgage coach and teach you about the cost of waiting. Let me explain the difference between a price reduction versus a permanent buy down versus a 2-1 buy down. Find ways to add value as a backup to get your foot in the door. And if they agree to allow you to be a backup, then now you just get to build a relationship and follow up. Okay. I promise you consistency works, because there will come in a day when that preferred person is on vacation or isn't performing or whatever, and you will get the call, and you got to be ready for that call. The other thing with builders, get involved with your builders association and network, like meet the owners, find out what their stresses are. We've recently been doing forward lock commitments. So we're allowing builders to buy a chunk of money at the rate and buy down their rate so they can advertise and offer a low rate. Now we've got this expanded builder services division where we've got software that helps them save on material costs and design costs. And it's got a financing arm that will give them financing for bridge, fix and flips, vertical, horizontal development, construction. So those are all interesting things to get the door open, to find out what is their current struggle and how do we provide value. Realtors, Amber, what is it right now that you're getting realtors to talk to you where they hadn't before, or what are you doing to provide? Get the meeting. Let's talk about getting the meeting.
To get the meeting, I think it's really just like my script every time is just like, hey, Shayla, let's say you were a listing agent. My gosh, we just absolutely love working with you on the transaction on 123 Main Street. I would love to set up a Zoom or a quick coffee meeting and just find out who you are, where you're going, and how I can help you get there faster, right? And I just want to get to know them. I'm like, hey, there's a great chance we're going to have another cross deal together. And I would love to have a foundation of just knowing who each other are. We're both players in this market. I think we should meet. And I used to do all my meetings over coffee, and I always could get a deal out of them. Like I was like, I can meet one time for coffee and get a deal. Now I do a lot of them over Zoom, and I'm having the same success. And so that's just that flip that like now we're so virtual. And so I can do so many more, meet them over Zoom, make sure I like them and we have a real values match. And then I can go meet with them in person and spend that time with them or get them into the office. But the goal of a realtor meeting, once you have it, is just to ask all the questions, right? The person that asks the questions controls the conversation, and just figure out about them. Why are they in it really? What are they struggling with? What is most important to them? What do they want to be doing in their business that they're not doing yet? And then figure out how to fill the gaps for them.
Awesome. Guys, for friends and family, you just got to state your goals. You just literally have to say, this year, my goal is to help 75 families. I've currently worked with about 12. The market's been tough, but here's what's happening. Do you know somebody that needs to be a first-time home buyer before it gets super competitive? Do you know somebody who hates their house, but they're scared to sell? That's it. And I mean, that's not cheesy. You're not selling them a lipstick and a vitamin subscription. You're literally just saying, here's my goals. Do you know anyone? Next. You just get used to saying this stuff. Most of it is where we just second guess ourselves. We think we're going to be cheesy. We don't want to be too bold or direct, and we get in our head. The reality is you are going to be you, and people will like you for you when you're authentic to yourself. So be a bigger version for you. I hope on this call today, you got to really explore clarity and seeing that there's levels to this business, and you got some inspiration and hope that everything is a skill that can be learned. If Amber and I can do this, and we've helped so many other people, then you can do this. We believe in you, which is why we're doing this. So hope you'll continue on the journey with us, whether you schedule a one-on-one call or you come on the Facebook group, you attend more power workshops. We want you to be successful wherever you're at, and would love feedback. So on those surveys, give us feedback, and the Facebook group, give us feedback, because we might think what was valuable, but I want to know what was valuable. Like, what was the switch that was turned on for you? So thank you for being on. We won't keep you any longer. We're already 2 minutes over, and we all have appointments. So Amber, thank you. You killed it. Love our energy. Thank you, everybody.
So fun. Kudos to you all for taking the time to be here today.